goodbye things announcement is at the end of this video, so make sure to stick around until then. Hey guys, and welcome to this video where I talk a bit about dealing with sentimental items. Now, I don't know about you, but often when I'm talking to people about minimalism, whether they're minimalists or not, the topic of conversation often turns to sentimental items, whether I have any, how I declutter them, if I want to declutter them. And to be honest, they are some of the hardest items to let go of for really obvious reasons. Maybe they were given to me by somebody who meant a lot to me, or maybe I acquired that item at a place that I had a really positive time at. Either way, there are a lot of quite substantial feelings associated to those items, and that can often cloud my judgment when I'm thinking about whether I want to keep an item or whether I need to keep an item. And to be honest, the most helpful thing that I have come across throughout my entire minimalism journey so far is always going back to the question of, does this item bring me joy? Does it make me happy at that particular point in time when I'm holding it in my hands? And if it doesn't, then I need to assess whether it's worth keeping hold of. So on that note, I decided yesterday that I was going to tackle some of my sentimental items, and there was quite a lot. Let me show you the situation. So here in these 3 boxes are where I stored all my sentimental items for the past, I don't know how many years, just many years. This was my storage method for items that were associated with positive experiences, just basically sentimental items that at the time I couldn't let go of, and so instead I would just put it in one of these boxes and know that I hadn't gotten rid of it regardless of whether I was going to look at that item ever again. These boxes have been niggling at me really because I know that there's a lot of stuff in here that doesn't bring me joy anymore, and so yeah, it's time to tackle these right now. Which box to start with? Okay, let's just go for the bigger one. So I'm going to move these to the side. We'll tackle this one. Okay, let's just get it all out, I suppose. I don't know why, but for some reason I just had such an obsession about keeping clothes tags. It's a thing from like my childhood. I used to do that quite a lot and I just carried on doing it as an adult. But now when I'm looking at them, I'm like, why did I do that? Why do I need these? I don't know, they're going in the bin. I saved this because this is like one of the first presents that Kate ever bought me. It's Moroccan mint infusion tea. I mean, it looks kind of grubby and I don't know why I want to keep it anymore. Hello? Kate's come in to disturb my proceedings. And now she's literally looking at all of like the sentimental items that I've kept.
And I keep seeing all of these like love letters that Frit's got, and I'm like, who's that from? And then it's from me, so it's fine. E.g. this, look at this card. How cute am I?
Kate bought this to me in Asia when she was travelling with her best friend to mark our anniversary. Didn't the woman who sold this to you tell you that
she handmade it, but she lied?
Yeah, because you ended up seeing them all around Asia.
Yeah. Anyway.
Alright, bye. Following the tea and the card, I literally have saved so many things from my relationship with Kate. And if you can see, this is a receipt from our first date together, except for the receipt itself has completely faded. And the only reason I can tell that this is from our first date is because it says first date with Kate. I might have to hold on to this for a bit longer, I don't know, we'll see. Okay, so I've tackled that first box, and to be honest, the only stuff that I'm really going to keep in this pile, these piles here are going to go. All of this in here, I may keep 1 or 2 items from here, I'm just going to go through them again. Essentially, in this pile is just everything to do with 2 very memorable trips from last year. The first is when I went solo travelling for the first time in my life, and I went to Stockholm, San Francisco and Hawaii, and that was such an incredible experience for me. It was actually really nerve-wracking. I remember the night before I kind of didn't want to go, and in the end it just turned out to be such an incredible experience to know that I can travel by myself, and on top of that I can have a really good good time by myself. It was actually a really empowering thing to do. And then the other trip is when Kate and I went to Asia. She had been travelling for about a month before I got out there. She was travelling with her best friend Alice, and then I joined her for another month, travelling around 5 countries in Asia. And there's stuff in here relating to that as well, but there are things like our itinerary, which is still in my email, so I don't need the physical copy. And there's also weird things like, you know, the little like masks that they give you to protect you from air pollution. So yeah, I'm gonna go through this stuff now because I know that I don't need all of this to remember it by. Okay, the only thing that I'm going to be keeping out of that stuff is just a plane ticket really. This is from Honolulu to Los Angeles. For some reason I can't quite let this one go. I'm going to put it in my maybe pile though. I don't need it obviously. Does it bring me joy? Yeah, it does actually. But I'm still going to put it in my maybe pile. Okay, right, let's move all this stuff out of the way, start on the next box. Next box, I've already had a peek in here and it's ridiculous. You ready? It's a box of lanyards, yay! Boo! They're just from events that I've been to in the past. I don't know why I've kept these at all. Okay, I've just really quickly, within the space of less than a minute, looked through all of these and I don't care about any of them. None of them bring me any joy. So I'm going to basically try and detach all of these cardboard and paper bits off and put them in the recycling. And I'm going to try and put the sort of empty lanyards on free cycle or something like that. All of this is going to go in my discard pile. Okay, that was easy. Next box. Okay. This is a postcard that I featured in a previous vlog that's written to me by my best friend Chris when she was like 9 or something. Right, let's go through this. People used to buy me birthday cards with rabbits on because I used to have a really lovely rabbit called Arthur, and so I basically ripped the covers off those cards and kept them, but I don't feel like I need that anymore, so yeah, I'm gonna let these go, although some of them are really funny. Again, more tags from more clothes and bags and things like that. This was from when my friend Bo and I did our 54-kilometre hike to raise money for grassroots suicide prevention charity. That was such an amazing day. That was when I really truly discovered how much I love being outdoors and how much I love hiking. Now, I've written blog posts about my training walks and the walk itself, which I will link down below if you want to take a read. That was such an amazing day. To be honest, I think this is an item that I should compare everything to because this brings me so many good memories, so much joy. I loved that day so much, and this is the kind of items that I should be keeping. Okay, so this is my discard pile from the box that I've just been through, so I'm going to move that out of the way. Okay, and this is all I'm keeping. But what I'm going to do is use this. So I'm going to put this here, right in front of me, and I'm going to keep it there as a reference, go through the stuff again and compare it all to how much that brings me joy. Okay, I've gotten rid of a few extra things, and this is all I'm keeping from those 3 boxes. So my plan is to keep all of the sentimental items that I'm keeping in this box. And this box is the shoe box for my hiking boots. It brings me joy because hiking brings me a lot of joy and I love my hiking boots. My only hesitation is that it looks a bit silly because don't have that much stuff in there. Like, the box is pretty empty, but the box itself brings me joy, so I think I'm going to keep them in here. To show you, these two boxes are now empty, and they're just going to get recycled. So this is my discard pile. See you later stuff. As you just saw, I managed to reduce all my sentimental items down to what was actually quite a small pile. I'm actually quite surprised myself. I've been thinking about decluttering those boxes for quite a while, and I've kind of put it off because I think I felt quite daunted about the potential emotional roller coaster that I might have to go on, and actually it ended up being way easier than I thought it would be. I think the thing that really helped to solidify all of my decisions about my keep pile and my discard piles was basically when I found this. This brought me so much joy when I found it that it then reminded me of the method that Kate taught me of having this as a reference point of how I should feel about all the items that I keep, and that just kind of made it so much easier for me to make my decisions. Another reason I think is because over the years I've inevitably changed as a person, and so a lot of the things that I was holding on to from the past just don't serve me anymore, and they also don't make me as happy either. And on top of that, of course, since starting my minimalism journey, the way that I view items has changed, and so holding on to things like train tickets just doesn't seem to make sense to me anymore. But past Frit really loved keeping things like train tickets. Train tickets were a really nice memento of maybe a really nice day out, but for me now, I don't resonate with those kinds of items anymore, so any train tickets that I found in those boxes, I just discarded immediately. But my main point is that by acknowledging that I've changed as a person, and therefore what makes me happy has most likely changed as well, that kind of felt like it gave me permission to let items go. And instead of thinking that I should keep an item, instead I kind of felt a little bit more free in my decision making, and I was able to ask myself about whether I actually really wanted to keep an item or not. Now, I'm sure a lot of you already listen to the Minimalist podcast, but if you don't, I really would recommend that you check it out. I will link it in the description below. Their most recent episode is one called Nostalgia, and that tackles the whole topic of sentimental items. To be honest, they're a really good podcast to have on whilst you're decluttering. But something that they mentioned that I found really helpful was this idea of limiting your space. I knew in the lead up to decluttering my sentimental items that I wanted to get those 3 boxes down to just the 1 box. Even though it's quite a large box, but I think having 1 box of sentimental items is a pretty good amount. And you may have seen in a previous video that I briefly mentioned about my wardrobe space. So when Kate and I moved to this flat, we allocated half of the wardrobe for each other. This is my side. And I've tried really hard before moving here to declutter a bunch of my clothes to make sure that all the ones that I bring with me do fit in only that half of the wardrobe. And I've found that to just be such a useful technique. By just putting some boundaries in, it kind of makes the decision process a bit more straightforward because you're working with a tangible amount of space that you're not allowed to go over. So that's it. I hope that this video has been interesting and helpful. And all that's left to say, as always, is give us a thumbs up if you like this video, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and unfortunately, I'm going to be taking next week off. I know, I just took a week off. But I'm taking next week off because it's the last week before Kate starts her new job. And I just like to spend that week with her and not be distracted by other things. So I'll be back in 2 weeks' time with a new minimalism video. So yeah, I will see you guys then. Okay, bye. Okay, so the person who I'll be sending goodbye things to is Ellie Green. Thank you so much for your comment. Thank you so much to all of you for your comments. But Ellie Green, you have been such an incredible supporter of me and my videos for such a long time. Your support really hasn't gone unnoticed, so I will be sending you this. Please send me a private message with your address either on here or on Twitter or Instagram, and I will get this off to you. I hope you really enjoy it.